Have you ever noticed something strange? A friend starts using your favorite phrase. A few weeks later, they're using your jokes, then your expressions, then your habits. And eventually, a weird thought appears in your mind. Why are they becoming me? At first, it feels flattering. Then it starts feeling uncomfortable, almost like someone is slowly borrowing pieces of your identity. But here's the strange part. Psychology suggests that people rarely imitate those they dislike. In fact, the people who copy you most are often the people paying the closest attention to you. And that reveals something fascinating about how human beings connect. Imagine you're talking to someone. You cross your arms. A few moments later, they cross theirs. You lean forward. They lean forward. You smile. They smile. Most people never notice this happening because the process is almost invisible. Yet your brain is constantly doing it without asking permission, without conscious effort, without you even realizing it. And here's where it gets weird. The more someone likes you, the more likely they are to copy you. Not because they want to steal your identity, because their brain is trying to build a bridge, a social bridge, a connection, a feeling of we are alike. Psychologists call this the chameleon effect. Humans naturally mirror the people around them, their posture, their tone, their expressions, their behavior. The brain quietly says, if we're similar, we're safer. And for thousands of years, that strategy worked. People survived in groups. Groups survived through cooperation. And cooperation became easier when people felt connected. So the human brain evolved a shortcut. Copy first, connect later. But here's the strange part. If imitation helps people connect, why does being copied sometimes feel so uncomfortable? Why does it occasionally feel almost threatening? To answer that, we need to talk about identity. Every human carries an invisible story. A story that says, this is who I am, my personality, my style, my opinions, my interests, my uniqueness. And whether we realize it or not, we become emotionally attached to that story. It becomes part of us. So when someone starts reflecting pieces of that identity back at us, something strange happens. Part of the brain feels validated. Another part feels challenged because suddenly something that felt uniquely yours doesn't feel unique anymore. And that creates tension. But here's the strange part. Most people copying you aren't trying to replace you. They're trying to understand you. Think about your favorite teacher, your favorite creator, your favorite actor, your favorite friend. Chances are, at some point in your life, you've borrowed something from them. A phrase, a habit, a way of thinking, a style. You copied them. Not because you wanted to become them, because you admired them. Humans learn through imitation, always have. A child learns language by copying. An athlete learns skills by copying. An artist learns technique by copying. Imitation is one of the oldest learning systems ever created. Without it, civilization wouldn't exist. But here's the strange part. You are doing it right now. There are pieces of your personality that originally belonged to someone else. The joke you always tell, the phrase you constantly use, the habit you think is uniquely yours, the way you react to stress, the way you communicate. Many of those behaviors were learned, copied, absorbed, passed down, because human beings are walking collections of influences. And once you notice this, you start seeing it everywhere. Friends adopting each other's language, couples developing the same expressions, coworkers sharing the same habits, entire cultures spreading ideas through imitation. The human species is essentially a giant network of copied behaviors. And yet, there is one final twist. Because not all imitation feels good. When mirroring is subtle, it creates connection.
When it becomes obvious, it creates discomfort. The brain stops interpreting it as bonding and starts interpreting it as competition. That's why a friend casually using one of your phrases feels normal, but someone copying everything you do feels unsettling. The line between admiration and imitation becomes visible. And once it becomes visible, the illusion breaks. But underneath that discomfort, the same ancient mechanism remains. A human brain trying to connect, trying to belong, trying to learn, trying to become a little more like someone it values. The next time you notice someone copying your words, your habits, or your style, pause before assuming the worst, because what feels like competition may actually be connection. What feels like imitation may actually be admiration. And what feels like someone becoming more like you may simply be a human brain doing what it has always done, learning through imitation, connecting through similarity, and searching for belonging in a world where nobody wants to feel alone. Another observation added to Anori's notebook. See you on the next page.